If someone came to me today and asked, Chris, should I start driving Uber in 2026? My answer wouldn't be yes, but it wouldn't be no. I would say it depends. And today, I'm going to explain exactly what it depends on, who I think should drive, who probably shouldn't, and how I'd approach it if I were starting today. Hey everyone, my name is Chris and welcome to the Rideshare Guy. And today we're talking about would I start driving Uber in 2026? Or I'm going to give you my honest answer. So, as I said, I wouldn't say yes, I wouldn't say no. I'd say it depends. So, the first thing I'd ask isn't whether you have a car, it's where you live and when are you planning to drive. So, a driver in New York City is going to have a completely different experience than someone in a smaller market. And the same goes only for someone who can drive Tuesday afternoons, while someone who's free Friday and Saturday nights. So before you ever sign up, understand that your market and your availability will have a huge impact on your success. So who should actually drive? Who should actually do this? Well, if you need extra income, yeah, it's worth considering. If you're in between jobs, it's a great bridge. College students, well, the flexibility is going to be hard to beat, especially if you have a weird class schedule. Retirees, hey, it's great if you enjoy getting out and meeting people. And if you're looking for a forever full-time career, I would want to think about that before making this commitment. Now, what would I do first? Well, first off, I wouldn't just sign up for Uber. I wouldn't just sign up for Lyft. Actually, I'd sign up for both Uber, Lyft, and then any other gig app available in my market. So I would try them all. I would see what pays better, and then see which one I'd actually enjoy. So that way I would spend more time on the apps that I enjoy as well as making the most money when I'm able to go out. So this is where you shouldn't be married to one app. There is no loyalty if you just stick to Uber. There's no loyalty if you just do DoorDash. All you have to do is get out there, turn on apps that are going to make you money that you enjoy doing. And then that way it's going to help you where you're not going to feel burned out down the road. And it's going to help you pay bills when you're out working. So let me tell you, I've been doing this almost a decade now, and there's been a lot of changes, especially when it comes to rideshare. So I started driving, like I said, about a decade ago, and the business has completely changed. So we used to have the 80-20 split. That means for every $100 that the passenger paid, you got $80, Uber took 20. It was great. It was awesome. Then they decided to change that to a rate card. So you would pick up the passenger, drop them off. There'd be a time and a distance rate. They would change the rates, of course, not in your favor. Usually would go down. But then, of course, a couple of years ago, something called upfront fares came around. And that's where you see the pickup, the drop off, and how much you're going to make, as well as a little bit of other information that Uber and Lyft decide to throw in there at this point. But that is a huge change because before they would never want you to see where you were going. You just pick up the passenger, take them where they needed to go, and then you get paid after that. Now you can actually see it up front. But with upfront fares and no rate card or just arbitrary numbers, that means it's unfortunately also lower driver pay. We've seen that across the board. Since I started driving to now, pay has gone down. You'd think over 10 years, there should be some sort of upward swing. There really hasn't. And of course, couple that with something like higher operating costs for your vehicle and maintenance and repairs. You know, it's become much more tough out there, but it's not all bad. And of course, there are a lot more things available today than ever before, like a lot more tools. There's third-party apps out there. Solo is great, especially if you want to know when and where to drive, when it's going to be busy in your market. It's going to give you a lot of information. So check out Solo if you haven't. Gridwise is another one. GigU. And of course, something great is coming from GigU that oh wait, I can't share that just yet, but stay tuned. And with these apps, you're going to understand the market data. You're going to understand the earnings tracking and be able to figure it out. And there's also communities out there. And of course, YouTube. So if you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button because we go over a lot more concepts and things that can help you earn more money in less time by working smarter, not harder. But of course, what I started 10 years ago versus when I started now, well, let's talk about a couple of the things that I would do different. So first off, I would know every cost. When I first started, I didn't. I just turned on the app and started driving. But then you realize that there's things called oil changes and tire maintenance and repairs and brakes and all of these things that happen when you are driving your car. So all of that will compound quicker because you're putting more miles on your car. So you got to know those costs when it comes to driving. You need to understand your insurance. If you have a car loan, you have to understand, putting away money for any bills or repairs for your vehicle that are going to be coming up. So knowing every cost would be huge. And then of course, over time, I understood that I need to understand these costs. So now you need to run it like a business. And so if you run it like a business, you need to know your costs, you need to know your profitability, and you need to know what your expenses are. So yes, you need to know every single cost. Also, using third parties to understand demand. Before, when I just started, I just went on, drove around aimlessly, waiting for the next ride to come in. Well, the reality is, you shouldn't drive around aimlessly. You should just sit there or move a little bit, but not just driving around aimlessly waiting for the next ride. And of course, using third-party apps to help you understand what is going on in the market during the time, during the day, and during the week. And the biggest thing too is have a schedule. A lot of drivers I see talk about how they feel like they're trapped, or they're on the hamster wheel, or they just make enough to get by. So I see so many drivers that actually will stop the second they've made the bill that they're trying to work for. So they'll stop at, the electric bill, and then they're like, oh, I got the money. I don't need to worry about it right now. So that's how people are going to stay stuck. If you have a bigger financial goal, you're going to actually get ahead instead of constantly catching up. So you need to plan and budget, and then you need to stick to a schedule. So, if you only need to make $200 a day when you go out and you hit $200 a day, well, you're at the bare minimum. What if you were making $300 a day? You'd have an extra $100 coming in every single day, which means now, instead of catching up, you are ahead of the game. And of course, the biggest thing is, would I drive full time? No, look, I wouldn't personally make this decision for my long-term full-time career. No. Could it work? Absolutely. There's a lot of drivers out there who are doing it full-time. But the biggest thing that it takes is discipline, meaning you have to get up, you have to get out, you have to have your financial picture in mind. You have to know what your costs are. You have to know what your bills are. And then you need to know what your profit on top of that is, so you have everything covered. And that can be a lot of work, and that can be very busy, and that can take a lot out of you. So it can be very difficult, but if you have the discipline to do it, it is an opportunity that you could potentially do. But for most people, I think gig work shines as part-time incomes, as extra money, or something that is going to bridge the gap in a transition. So let's talk about Uber and Lyft's and other gig economies' biggest actual opportunity. So first off, the biggest opportunity isn't driving. No, it's actually using the flexibility that driving gives you, because you're able to go on at different times. And usually the times that it's busy is usually when the times that business is not happening. Well, so that means you could build another business. You could learn another skill. You could save for an investment, pay off a debt, or fund a dream. That's where Uber can help finance your next chapter instead of becoming the destination. So would I start driving Uber in 2026? Yes, but only if I treated it like a business. Got to know your numbers, got to drive when it makes sense, and use every tool available, and have a bigger goal than just making enough money to get through the week. Done that way, I still think gig work can be one of the best ways to create extra income and flexibility. But if you're just turning the app on, hoping for the best, you're probably going to be disappointed. I want to hear what your thoughts are, though. Do you think that it's still worth it? Or are you evaluating, and what kind of questions you have? Put them in the comments. Let us know. Look, you can absolutely make money doing this. But the biggest thing that you need to take away is not just the time and when and where you can. You need to also understand some of the myths when it comes to driving. So if you want to see 7 myths right now that I talk about when it comes to driving Uber, check out that video right there. Make sure you're subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.